HUD Secretary Ben Carson was in San Francisco for work this week. While in the city, he held an internal meeting. And at that meeting, Secretary Carson said something that about 20 minutes ago would have gone without any notice at all. He said, in effect, that women's shelters ought to be reserved for women. Shelters, of course, exist for women who are fleeing domestic abuse and violence that is, unfortunately, mostly committed by men. So the shelters are for women only. They've always been for women only. Why? To keep women safe. It's not bigotry to note that. It's compassion. But the Washington Post, probably this country's most dishonest and unscrupulous news outlet, a joke owned by the world's richest man, Jeff Bezos, has no place for compassion. They published leaks about Secretary Carson's remarks and called them, quote, transphobic. Ben Carson's a bigot now. That's what they want you to know. Secretary Carson joins us tonight. Mr. Secretary, thanks very much for coming on. So tell me if I mischaracterized your remarks. What did you say in this meeting?
No, I simply pointed out the fact that, we have to have policies that take into consideration everybody's rights. I say everybody has equal rights. Nobody gets extra rights. And I talked about some of the women's groups who've come to me. I've had many in my office. And they say that they're uncomfortable with the policy that was in existence, which said that you must accept a person's designation of their gender regardless of their physical characteristics. And what we've decided to do, first of all, we've upheld the 2012 Equal Access Law. We have no intention of changing that. But in terms of that broad definition of gender being whatever you say it is, we said we're going to leave that to the local jurisdictions. If you have a women's shelter and you've been operating well, and you get to decide how you're going to run that. The federal government doesn't need to be telling people who is a man or who is a woman. That's a decision that they can make by themselves. And that's basically what we're saying. And I quoted a group that came to me, and they were very upset. And they said, a big hairy man comes in here and he says he's a woman, and that upsets us because many of us are trying to escape from that. And I'm simply saying we got to take them into consideration also. But, the political correctness says, no, you only have to do what we want you to do and how we want you to do it, and you have to say what we want you to say. And that's in the process
or else we're going to punish you.
Destroying freedom of speech, yes.
Of course it is, and common sense as well. I hope you'll just wait for 2 moments, Mr. Secretary. We're going to go to the White House very quickly, dip in on the state dinner for the Prime Minister of Australia, it's in progress now. I think the President of the United States ought to be coming in.